In this video we're looking at the conservation of mass. The reaction that we are using is going to be a solid reaction between lead nitrate and potassium iodide, and here are the Has symbols that all go with lead nitrate, so take care when handling it. So let's get started. We want our sample of potassium iodide and lead nitrate. Just make sure the solids are nicely ground up before you start. Now we need to think about the type of balance that we're going to use. 1 decimal place or 2 decimal places are best, because this really will show that the conservation of mass doesn't change. First of all, we need to tare the balance and make sure that it's recording 0. This makes it a lot easier. So we do that by putting all the bits of equipment onto the scale that we're going to be using and check that it reads 0, as you can see. Next, we're going to measure out our potassium iodide, and we're really looking for about 10 grams. Now, students often fail to measure out the samples without spilling it all over the balances. It's best to take off the weighing boat and do all the transfer of the solid over the actual sample that you have. This will avoid making a mess of your balance. Some chemicals are corrosive and that can cause problems later down. So let's note down that we've got 10.0 grams of potassium iodide. Now we're going to do the same thing with lead nitrate. Again, we want to take the weighing boat off the balance and then put it on. Just take a little bit of time to make sure that we get a nice amount that we can record clearly. So we're almost there. Students tend to be a little impatient with this, and we do need to take our time to make sure that we've got some nice numbers that can be clearly done. Right, so we're almost there. What we're looking for is 20 grams. Okay, so the next Okay, we've now got our 20 grams. The next step is to transfer the solid into the bottle, and you'll notice the bottle has been on the balance the whole time, so we just carefully tip out the solid into the bottle. We're using weighing boats that can be squished slightly to make sure we don't spill any. If you haven't got weighing boats, then it's a good idea to make a paper funnel and put that into the top of the bottle. Once both solids are into the bottle, we are going to put that back onto the balance, and we'll see that we're still on 20 grams, so we've not lost any mass. This reaction is very simple. Let's give it a bit of a shake, and then once that's happened, we will see a bright yellow result is there. There's been chemical change and we still got 20 grams left. Now we can do this on a microscale balance. Here we can see a much smaller version. It's good if you want to actually get all the students to do this, is use a lot less chemicals, and therefore you cut down on the hazardous nature of it as well. So what you might like to do now is just think about some of the questions that you could ask your students while we are doing this. For example, state the law of conservation of mass, record your observations. How will you know if the reaction is complete? Explain what happens during a chemical reaction. You could ask them to write a balanced or simple equation, or you could also ask them, has mass been conserved during the reaction? How do you know? All of these things are questions that your students should be able to answer.